Welcome to Game 2 of the first round of Swiss at the Worcester Manor League Store Championships held in March 2014, brought to you by Netrunners.co.uk. Myself there on the right playing Chaos Theory, and Jason from Oxford there on the left playing MBN, making news. So almost an exact reversal of the first game, which if you haven't seen you should, because it was quite a good match I think. Again, Jason very new to the game as I've mentioned previously. Been playing for a matter of weeks, I believe. I think he said. Already doing respectably well. I'm hoping to have a strong runner game here, and at the very least split the round to try and ensure that I'm not going to be struggling straight off the bat to qualify for what will be a top 8. Although at this stage I wasn't sure it would be top 8 or top 4. Again, the good thing about Netrunner is you can afford to drop the odd game here and there. Obviously, if you can help, not so much the better. But neither is taking a mulligan, so it looks like I've got quite a nice opening hand there. Again, Jason looks like he has pretty much nothing but ice. 4 ice cards and a character assassination. Probably not an ideal opening hand, actually. We kind of want an economy card in there as well, but at least he can protect his service at the very least. So it's interesting to see what kind of ice here we're going to be facing. In making news, you're kind of expecting to see trace ice. Your Dracos, your Vipers, your Caduceus, he's got a Grim there. Looks like an Ice Wall potentially as well, which again I think in MBN now has been largely superseded by Wraparound. He has a Toll Booth, which is probably not ideal on in this point in the game. So he'll do his mandatory draw, and he'll draw Subliminal Messaging. So that's not too bad as a mandatory draw there. So he gets his free credit and still has 3 clicks left. For those of you unaware of what subliminal messaging does, basically what it does, if the runner does not make a run, you are allowed to draw it back up into your hand for free. If you haven't played one, you can play it and you gain a click and you gain a credit. So it's a free credit, like a pad campaign almost, but it's dependent on the runner not running, which I'm going to be doing. So first click I'll sure gamble, which is the dream. Second click I'm going to draw up with Diesel. This deck is designed to be fast. It's designed to get into remote servers quickly, get into central servers quickly, and win quickly. It is very much an aggressive shaper deck, but I'm going to play the early Magnum Opus there for 5, and take 2 as my 4th click. It really wants the early Magnum Opus as well. This is a deck that I designed looking back at my rather dismal performance in the February tournament to try and kind of correct the mistakes I was making through deck design, i.e. playing economy that was less dependent on not being tagged, while at the same time still kind of catering towards my aggression to a fault, as often is the case, and I'm sure you'll see that again continuously throughout this tournament. But nevertheless, happy with the turn 1 Magnum. Cannot complain. So he's going to set up the remote server. I didn't make a run, so he got a subliminal messaging back and was able to play it. So you get that free credit. And he's going to pass the turn over to me. I think he just took some cash. Or possibly not. So, okay, so the first click I'm going to run HQ and run smack into a Caduceus. So he's going to play the trace game. I've got enough cash. I'm not overly concerned, to be honest. I'm going to let him have his 3 credits. I'm not sure. I can't remember whether he boosted the trace or not. He's then going to decide if he's going to boost the trace at the end of the run. And to be honest, with 1 agenda in hand, probably not worth it. But he is going to boost it up a little bit, and I just say fine, that's not a problem, I'll bounce off. Second click, I'm going to run into R&D. Here's a classic misplay. I'm pretty sure I have a sharpshooter in hand, but rather than play that first, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run smack straight into a Grim. So I lose my Magnum Opus, but at bare minimum it does mean that I now have free reign on R&D until he decides to ice that up further. Grim is the innermost piece of ice, not ideal, so I'm going to score the Astro script, get a little bit of luck there to say the least. So scoring the Astro, big deal. I'm going to indexing, 3rd click, and see 5 more. I wasn't going to index initially without an icebreaker out, but now I know I can get through. I will definitely index. Seeing just the 1 agenda, looks like the breaking news, which I will run again and take. So, giving me 3 points. Not a bad second turn. Denying him his Astro script is the important thing. And obviously at this stage as well, denying him drawing up his subliminal messaging, also quite a big deal. So he draws up more ice, still has the character assassination in hand by the looks of it, has another subliminal messaging, which he will be able to play, and he'll get both of them back if I do not make a run. I no longer have my lovely magnum opus to be able to click through for money, but to be fair, at this stage, I don't need it until he starts defending and protecting R&D. I can run naked quite happily. Obviously, you know, no sexual connotation there whatsoever. So he is going to in fact place an ice over that Grim. Again, this is the kind of point where you wish you had a Grim into something rather than something into a Grim, because there's not a great deal of risk for me now at this point. I have a sharpshooter there. I don't think I actually did have the sharpshooter. I think I've just drew it up there. But at this stage, not a lot of point in playing that until I actually have a program I want to lose. Or don't want to lose, rather. See a Levy. Got a Corroder. Now I'm going to kind of go to my backup. Oh no, sorry, I'm not. I'm going to play the same old thing. And discard a Plascrete, because I'm already at this stage fairly certain he's not running a Scorched Earth. And I'm not planning on picking up tags. Anyway, didn't make a run, so he gets both of his subliminal messagings back, and a mandatory draw, which is a pop-up window. So he's going to play a subliminal messaging. He only gets to play one and get the free click. He can play the second, but he won't get the click back. Not a lot of point, really. So, still only the one agenda in hand, but he's 0 points to my 3. Feeling the pressure probably a little bit here. He's going to install over archives, possibly trying to stop the easy runs to enable his subliminal coming back. He hasn't seen any other economy, so he's kind of dependent on them really now at this stage. That little extra drip. He's going to have a look at my heap to see what I could bring back. Obviously indexing being the key one there. Being able to bring back an indexing now very strong, so I'm going to draw first click and see a self-modifying code. So I can go and fetch another magnum opus if I wanted. I'm going to draw again. I'm going to sure gamble, having exactly 5 credits, and obviously the bad pub from Grim. And then third click. Sorry, I've got 1 click left. That was the third click. I'm going to draw again. Not quite sure what I'm looking for here. Well, I've got a Fem, so that's good news. I can Fem the Grim. Potentially, I'm going to play the Levy out, discard that, don't need it. Already on 3 points, so the game isn't probably going to go on. Isn't going to last massively long. Although I did think the same when he took 5 points off me in the last match. So I'm going to discard the self-modifying code as well. Programs at this stage not a big deal. I've got a Corroder in hand. I've got a Fem in hand, and I've got a sharpshooter. So I've got plenty of icebreakers. Only the code gate one I don't need. Didn't make a run. Gets his subliminals back. Gets to play one and a sweep of 5 cards in hand. Plenty of money. Cash, 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 cash. But can he set up the remote? At this point I'm kind of baiting him, I'll be honest. I want him to install into the remote server, because my plan is Fem. I'm going to Fem over the remote. So we're going to install advance, so I know it's either A, a trap at 1 advancement I'm not too worried about, and particularly without any programs, or B, it's an agenda, which I think is far more likely. So I want it. I need it. And I can get in. All I've got to do is install the Fem, and I may take an extra credit just in case it has 2 subroutines on the piece of ice. And I can go in and take that bad boy. It's a bit of a tell, unfortunately. It is a bit of a sign when you play a agenda and advance it once. You're kind of hollering from the rooftops that it's a either a market research or a character assassination, and that's not really what you want to do, to be honest. So I'm going to run. I probably again here should have taken an extra. Oh, I've got a bad pub, so that's fine. So I've got 2 credits to be able to break 2 subroutines if necessary, so that's fine. I'm going to go through and take that character assassination, taking me up to 5 points, so effectively on match point now at this stage. And I do have the scavenge in hand, so which I'm going to take. So I'm going to take a credit first of all, and then last click I'm going to scavenge over there onto the Grim. Such a great play, again, so much flexibility in that. It just means suddenly now that he's got real issues, because I can lock down R&D, I can same old thing for the scavenge and put it straight back on that remote if he forgets that I have the same old thing in play, which will be free. And it means I can potentially win the agenda, so he has to ice that up twice in order to be able to put what he needs there. So he has installed into the remote, and he's taken 2 credits. I'm deciding whether at this stage I want to go in and scavenge. I don't know whether that's an agenda or not. If it had been advanced, I would have almost certainly run it. But I'm going to run on the assumption that there's probably more booty in R&D. So first click, I'm going to run R&D and see what he has there, which is a pop-up window, which I'm going to pay with BAPUB, and pay a credit to break through the Grim with the FEM, the bypass access. Nothing, so that's fine. And now the temptation is, ooh, do I go in and scavenge? So I'm going to second click draw. So obviously I'm not at this stage. Same old thing, taking 2 clicks to play an event. So you have to do it early. I'm going to have a plain old run, have a look. So third click, I'm going to just run the server, see what's what. See the San. So he didn't res. He knew I couldn't trash it, so he wasn't worried about showing it to me. He has the money to res it and score. Just. I think, do the quick bit of math. Nope, sorry, he doesn't, so he's 1 credit short. But it looks like he doesn't have the agenda anyway. He's got a Jackson Howard there and a piece of ice. He's going to install into that remote with the Jackson Howard. He's going to take some money, which is wise, because again, he is was a credit short there of being able to score an Astra script with the San. I'm going to have a look, just in case it was a market research really more than anything else. Oh no, I'm not, sorry, I tell a lie. I am going to in fact play indexing. Pay 1, far better play, now I think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a very cheap access. See the Beal, the Astro, this is pretty much it folks. So I'll put the Astro on top, I'll run, pay the 2, third click. He'll then, obviously at that point, use the Jackson, as would be wise. So he will shuffle. And I had a sneaky suspicion that it was probably a Jackson Howard in the server there. I wasn't going to run in and trash it. I didn't have the money or the time to be able to run in, trash it, and play the indexing. Probably should have waited. That was probably the more sensible play. Just building up a little bit of cash, going into that server, seeing if there was a Jackson there and trashing it, and if not, I know I've got free reign with the indexing. So yeah, probably subpar play there. A bit of a waste of the same old thing. I still get to access, obviously, even though he shuffled with... I haven't paid, so I'll pay first. So bad pub to break the pop-up window, and 1 credit to see the Grim. Access, and that's the game anyway, so it's the same Astro. And unfortunately, I get a little bit fortunate and top deck the winning agenda, taking me up to 7 points to 0, so a very quick match. And again, he just wasn't able really to get the economy he needed to res the San, start scoring out, and didn't see the agendas. I was just nicking them all out of R&D, or at the remote server, as the case may be. And my early game aggression seems to have paid off. Losing the Magnum hurt, but that was the only program I had, so it didn't slow me down, and I was able to use the bad pub that it gave me to relatively great effect. So we split the round, go 1-1, which leaves me in a relatively happy place, and I go into the second round of Swiss.